Welcome to the Creator Story Series and part 4 of the 4-part series, The Creator Era. And it's nowhere near finished.
Good morning, birdies dancing in the sunrise. Babies crawling on the floor.
So welcome to part 4, and this has brought up a lot in the sense of where things have grown or elevated to manifesting, to momentum, to multiplying, while at the same time healing and clearing and navigating so many different things at once. So this didn't start yesterday. This started in 2014. And in case you haven't recognized or realized, all these different eras from the foundation to corporate to the transformation to the creator, they overlap and or they're simultaneous now, and or there's different parts that get revisited. So this started before the creator economy was everywhere, before it was trendy to call yourself a creator, before AI. It started with faith, with vision, with action, and knowing that I wasn't meant to fit into one lane. And I think if you're listening to this or if you're reading this, there's a chance that this is speaking to your soul, that you've never felt like you really belonged in one box, so to speak. And there's a lot of things that call to you and pull you. So within my transformation era and or after, the shift of creator to CEO started to click. I really stopped trying to fit into a life that looked great or good on paper. I started creating one that felt aligned in my soul and in my spirit, not just posting, but creating, not just sharing, but scaling. And what alignment really, really does when you're sharing from a space of freedom, a freedom of time, location, expression, community, and then on the way to financial freedom, when you're moving into alignment with flow, things don't just work, they start to compound. So when I started in 2014, it was one story, one post, one brand, one opportunity. It started to turn more and more fluid and flow into more stories, more recognitions of stories that have value that I had buried or didn't even think about, that people are like, oh wow, you experienced that, or oh wow, you did that, or oh wow, tell me more. And it's usually the things, what I even started to recognize in myself so one of my rules is I consume one piece of content for 10 actions that I take. So it's very, very intentional. Like, I'm very clear on creating more than I consume. And when I consume, doing so from a space of fulfillment and from a space of inspiration. Like, how is this piece of content inspiring me or evolving me or, having me expand or whatnot. And it also then turned into more visibility, more stories, more posts, more opportunities, pipelines, and also at the same time pruning for less, because more isn't always better. Like recognizing, well, if I take this action or do this, what's the potential ripple effect? Or if I take this action, like, am I navigating potentially just for the temporary, but what's both the sunk cost and then what's the opportunity cost, so to speak? Different income streams, impact, influence, income, because alignment doesn't just create, it manifests, it multiplies, and it creates momentum. So the creator flow, I really started to dial into the creator flow early in 2025. I remember being in Bali at Nirvana, which I love. It's a gym / co-work / pool / wellness facility, all the things in Canggu. And I really started to recognize and realize, like, the power of the alignment and the momentum flowing from priorities like brands and email launches. So brands into long form content, brand placements, brand pitches, all the things. Directed emails to brands and then directed segmented emails to creators, long form content like a podcast, like Substack, like blogs, short form content like shorts, carousels, using AI, automation, community, every step of the way extremely intentionally. Nothing's random. Everything connects, everything compounds, and at the same time evolving. I'm in Chile right now, and I recognized in Peru, and then also last year during different travels, like, wait a minute, I want to both create videos outdoors and at studios, and take my content batching and blocking to a new level, and then I receive the videos edited like what I did in Bali last year with Rifki with Photos by Clicky. It was amazing. We batch created over 6 videos that he edited for me. We did the batching in about 2 hours. He edited it for me within less than a day. Like, it was insane. And so part of what I've done is also researched different studios in Santiago in Chile, and all over Chile, and then also different places I can create outdoors, but also ask them if they can come film it outdoors, because it feels more authentic to me. It feels more authentic to creating a new space for creators. It feels more authentic to creating the content and creating a new series on Create with Me. And so really taking people behind the scenes, and sharing the journey, sharing the behind the scenes, and create with me, not learn from me after I'm an expert, but hey, let me take you along with me. And I think there's a lot to be said for that, and that goes back to the going against the grain of the overnight success. It's like, no, there is no overnight success. And I think more people are craving more raw and real, and the journey. So that's why I create it like a boss, for creators who crave creating community and cash, to create it like a boss. Because being a creator isn't about posting. It's about creating influence, impact, income, an empire, depending on, whatever that empire means to you. It's your world. So what started as content began to shift into an era with brands, with experiences, with creator retreats, with courses, with templates, with creator AI agents, all created not only from a space of what I create and how I create and what I use, but to amplify what works and to simplify how you scale. And health, wealth, and business is integrated, because I don't believe in creating in silos. I created the intersection of health, wealth, and business because it's my life. It's a creator's life, and tips, tools, and tech. The travel evolution. So since 2021, I've traveled to over 15 countries. I'm now at a total of 45 plus countries. And at first, I was moving faster. I was jumping places faster. But then after I realized I'd stayed in several places early 2021, I stayed in Tulum in one space in 3 months. I was averaging 1 country per month, living fully in 12 countries per year in the quote unquote limitless global girl era, exploring, creating, expanding. But over time, several things shifted, that I realized expansion requires stability, requires roots. Now I move differently, more or less 1 country per quarter, but less sometimes. I was just in Peru for 6 months. I haven't done that with any country for a while, but that's what my soul needed, and that's what my spirit needed, and that's what I practically needed. More depth, more presence, more intention, less running, more rooted in being, and more rooted in experiencing, and more rooted in creating. And the community that I'm creating and have created both online and in real life started in, online, but expanded in real life. Like Atlanta with events, like Fitness Fuses with fashions, like Miami that I'm listing Creator Weeks now, like previous retreats, Cuba, Barcelona, London, coming up, Mexico, Bali. Because community isn't an add-on, it's a foundation, it's integration, it's what's next, setting up a base. Like, I feel like I'm being pulled for a number of reasons to navigate and create a base in Miami and also Bali, however that looks and navigates. Along the way, I've created with brands like Google, Expedia, Airbnb, and Amazon Paid, because creators, we're not just posts, we're not just content. We are platforms, we are pipelines, we are partners. This isn't just a new chapter, it's an evolution, it's a new identity. It's not creating content. I feel like there's not just content, and not to negate just content, but I feel like so many creators are stepping into these new levels of influence, impact, and income, and navigating new industries and new generational changes. And what started in 2014 has continued to manifest, multiply, and with momentum. Year after year, day after day, month after month, week after week, quarter after quarter, I'm still creating and I always will. I don't believe in retirement. I know that be maybe a very contrarian type thinking. I believe I heard this term coined recently on LinkedIn, and I can't recall exactly who. This is not my term, and when and how I find it or if I've saved it, I will definitely shout them out. I believe in preferment, and I believe in purpose. Like you don't see so many people that I admire and have been influenced and look up to, whether it's been Warren Buffett or Bill Gates, they or others, they fully embrace their purpose with their last breath. Or if you look at biblical stories, it's the same thing. Like, yes, it looks different, but there's not a complete like cutoff. And also, what I'm scared of, in a sense, is I've seen people retire, like my parents, and then I see the downhill spiral, in a sense, sometimes with not having something outside the home, whether it's volunteering or purpose or something, and the impact and influence on people, or people that wait to travel until they're retired. I love Nomad. I think it's Nomad Spitz shares a lot. Like, hey Susan, will you do this when you retire? And I actually have an upcoming reel, and I'll tag him to credit him. Like, I love the concept. Um, so reflections: where in your life are you being called to stop fit in and start creating fully and expressively? And I've linked in the link part one if you missed the prior parts of the series, and then if they're ordered on the show as well. So I definitely encourage you to listen to them all. And as always, besties, create, transform, and inspire, because you are born to.